Hi everyone, this is CricketSong with Inner Wisdom, and this video is going to be a reading. What you're going to see here is a reading I'm doing for a fellow YouTube creator who approached me and asked if we could do a reading exchange. So I'm not going to use her name, she knows who she is, but I'm going to do a reading for her. It's a general reading of what she needs to know now, what insight she needs to gain. I'm going to do a Celtic cross spread, and I'm also with the Green Witch Tarot, but I'm also going to use my Witch's Runes to give us some further clarity as to what's going on. So it's sort of a mixed media or mixed tool spread tools that I'm going to use. Okay, so let's see what we have. I'm going to do a modified Celtic cross spread. Okay, here we go. Let me pull back. Okay, and we have some help from my little new kitty cat. Hopefully he doesn't become a nuisance. Okay, so what do we see here? So the first card that we see is the Ten of Wands, and this card represents the energy of where you are right now in the moment, what's going on. And when I see the Ten of Wands, what this speaks to me about is having a lot of responsibilities placed upon you. Whether these are responsibilities that you have taken upon yourself, or whether they are responsibilities that you've taken upon yourself, or you've allowed others to place upon you, or you feel that they've been placed upon you. The Ten of Wands signifies an abundance of responsibilities. So that's where we see you right now. You are overloaded with burdens, responsibilities. The next card here, the card that crosses you, are obstacles, things that are oh no, Oberon, no, sorry, kitty cat. This is an obstacle. As you are dealing with these burdens and responsibilities, this card tells us what it is that's holding you back from either working through or dealing with these responsibilities. And the card we see here is the High Priest. He's a major arcana card. Oberon, no. He's a major arcana card, and he represents the masculine, the divine masculine energy. He represents knowledge in a masculine sense. So however you define the divine masculine, the attributes and the characteristics, projective, action, attaining knowledge and wisdom, and doing something with it in a very projective aspect. So this is what's holding you back, meaning that there is a lack of connection with this in your life. So you may understand what needs to be done, but for some reason you can't tap into this energy or align with yourself with this energy, and you are unable to move forward with this. So that's when we look at the influences. And the influences we have here is the Two of Chalices. And the Two of Chalices is dealing with an emotional or spiritual or energetic connection, meaning that either this could be in relationships, you are sort of on the same page, or you are aligned with your emotional self, your spiritual self, which is why the High Priest represents more of action and masculine energy. The Two of Chalices represents a very feminine energy, and where you are having all these responsibilities and burdens placed upon you, or you feel you are responsible for, is calling for you to either, do something about them. I feel like what we see is you are more, again, aligned with the feminine energy at this point. This isn't saying you don't have a balance within you, but you find that you are more drawn to and resonating with the feminine side of things in your life, and you're being influenced more by them than by the masculine energy in your life, which is why this masculine, the high priest, is a challenge for you. He is a major arcana card, and as you are well aware, is the major arcana cards are the cards that we want to take note of, because they are they're indicating the areas that we want to pay close attention to, because they may signify transitions. They may signify a great influence in your life at this time. So this blockage, being the high priest, is something that I feel that isn't necessarily a new blockage for you. That this challenge, this obstacle has been in your life for a significant amount of time, but is now becoming a more prominent challenge and needs to be addressed now. It may have been something that you were aware of in the past, but you've decided to put aside. Now it needs to be addressed in order for you to move forward, in order for you to grow and expand, especially when we're dealing with the Ten of Wands. In your past, we see the Ace of Pentacles, which talks to me about establishing a strong foundation, grounding yourself, rooting yourself. This can signify some sort of job, some sort of income, some sort of choice that you made in regards to a career. This has happened in the past. It is something that is affecting what's happening now. So if we look at what's happening with you now being a lot of responsibilities and burdens, it may be, and it probably is directly tied to whatever that Ace of Pentacles represents for you. So if we're talking about a job or a career, then your career that you established in the past is what is bringing on all these responsibilities and burdens now. If the Ace of Pentacles is sort of a, whether you moved somewhere, because we're dealing with a stability, a root chakra situation. If you have, moved to a new place, or bought a house, or started a significant relationship, started a new life, whatever that is that grounds you and roots you to the physical, that is what is bringing all these concerns about responsibilities and burdens in the present. So what we see in the direct future is the Nine of Pentacles, which tells me that even though you may feel that you are overburdened with responsibilities, in the Nine of Pentacles, in the future, it's going to pay off, meaning that you are going to find that dealing with this now is going to reap rewards for you in the future, directly connected to the Ace of Pentacles. So we have the Ace of Pentacles, which brings you to the Nine of Pentacles, but in the middle, in the now, what's happening now is you dealing with the Ten of Wands. So we do see a nice, whatever it is that you're putting in now, all these challenges, all these obstacles, all this feeling of being overwhelmed by the burdens and responsibilities are not going to be sustained, because I do feel like we see the High Priest, you working through that in order to get to where you want to get in the immediate future. Your foundation is also a major arcana card, and that's the Battle Wagon. This is the Chariot in the Rider-Waite. And this talks about overcoming challenges. So this tells me that your foundation of your personality, of your energy, is someone that deals with challenges, takes on the challenges, and becomes victorious. You overcome, you work through, you disassemble, you dissolve. You're able to handle whatever it is. So this tells me that even though you're feeling overburdened or feeling as if you have so many responsibilities. This tells me that you're comfortable in this energy, that you're able to overcome that, this won't stop you. You may be dealing with trying to figure out how to resolve these. You may be stagnating in exactly what you need to do, but this is momentarily. This is a momentary position. This is a momentary repose or reprieve from action, but it's not going to be sustained because you are someone who thrives on challenge. You see the potential, you see the outcome, and you know how to get there. What spirit wants you to know? What does the spiritual realm want you to know? And this is the Five of Chalices. So here we're talking about the non-physical. We're talking about the emotional, the mental, the spiritual realms. We're talking about those things that we cannot physically touch but affect us. And when we see the Five of Chalices, we see you, Spirit is suggesting that you work through this energy, that you understand that it's a give and take. It's a bringing in, filling your cup, but also giving. So it's sort of the equivalent exchange going on here, that you know where and how to fill your cups. You can go to the well, but also that it's not just you that's being replenished. And you understand that there is still things that you desire, that you've come this far, you know how to do this, but there is still more to come. And that's what the spirit realm wants to remind you, that yes, filling your cups is important, but don't forget to give. Take and give. Give and take. It's sort of reminding you of this transition, reminding you that this is just a moment, that there is reward. If you can go with the flow kind of thing is what we see here. So then this card over here, this card represents your environment right in this moment. The people that are surrounding you, the situations that are surrounding you, the everything, all the energy around you. So your environment is the Ten of Athames reversed here. So this talks to me about dealing with a lot of conflict and a lot of tension. You may not directly put yourself in this situation, but other people that are around you, whether we're talking about social, whether we're talking about work, whether we're talking about home, whether we're talking about family, there seems to be a lot of conflict and a lot of tension. Now, it may not directly involve you, but it is affecting you. And this is reminding you to be sure that you are either shielding or creating a boundary, maintaining personal boundaries, so that this energy, this tension, these conflicts don't affect you or affect what it is you're trying to accomplish. Because, you know, when you surround yourself with this type of energy, sometimes it's very difficult to maintain and remain focused on what it is you want to accomplish and not allowing other people's bad attitudes or negative energy affect you. So your environment, there's a lot of negativity surrounding you, and you just want to make sure that you are separating yourself from that. What it is you fear, this next card, what it is you are concerned about, what is it that you are worried about. And the Lord of Shadows represents the Death card in the tarot. So here we're looking at some fears concerning the unknown, fears concerning what is ending, not understanding what it is that will begin or take its place. There may be concerns about how something is going to end, knowing that whatever this is that you're working through, whatever it is you established, you're dealing with the challenges and your outcome. The Lord of Shadows could be definitely tied to the idea that once I attain what I want, I'm concerned what happens after. Knowing that you are someone who isn't afraid of challenges, knowing and seeing here that you conquer and you're able to overcome things that stand in your way, there seems to be a concern about after. you know, you're focused on what it is that needs to be done, knowing, you know, and contemplating and planning the steps on how to do it, there is sort of this, well, once I have it, once it's completed, then what? You know, where some people may find relief in having everything resolved, for you, it seems there is once I have reached everything I want to, once I've overcome, once I've completed the battle, what do I do then? You know, there is this fear and this concern here. And that's what the Lord of Shadows represents. He is a major arcana card as well. So whatever this is, whatever he represents for you, the idea that once the challenge is met, once the battle is over, once victory is won, there is a fear on what to do after. How am I supposed to react? This is a fear that lingers. This is a fear that isn't new. This is a fear that originated elsewhere in your past, and something that you would want to look at and work through, because it's not going anywhere. Even after we've dealt with this particular situation you find yourself in. The next card is What You Hope For. And the Standing Stone, again, is a major arcana card. So what you hope for, what you fear, your foundation, and what challenges you are the major arcana cards. These are the major points in your life. We're going to draw runes in a moment to get us clarification. But the Standing Stone in the Rider-Waite is the Justice card. So what you hope for is justice. What you seek is justice. And for each of us, the definition of justice is going to, or what justice looks like really, is going to be different for each of us. What it really means is having punishment and reward for the corresponding action. You know, if someone is wrong or does a wrong or breaks the rules or breaks the laws, then they should be punished. When someone does good, when someone follows the rules, when someone follows the laws, they should be rewarded. That is that sense of justice. But what it looks like to each of us is going to be different. And that seems like what you're seeking. So if we look at this transition from the Ace of Pentacles, dealing with the Ten of Wands and getting to the Nine of Pentacles, what you hope for and what you desire is a reward. But the fear, the Lord of Shadows, the uncertainty, what happens next, is what you are concerned about. It may be concerned about not having justice follow through. You know, that your actions, your efforts are not rewarded. That you're doing what you are required to do, what you're expected to do, but it will go unnoticed. That's what this seems to be telling me here with the Justice and the Lord of Shadows. Your final outcome is the King of Pentacles reversed. He is definitely connected to the Ace of Pentacles in your past, the Ten of Wands being your current situation, your immediate future being the Nine of Pentacles reversed. He is your final outcome, the King of Pentacles reversed. And when I read the tarot, the court cards represent specific energies of people or personalities. So whether he is someone in your life right now, your partner, your significant other, it is definitely someone with a very strong masculine energy, which ties to the High Priest we saw as your challenge. He could be a reflection of that. He could be the personified energy of the High Priest. So if there is someone you feel that is a challenge for you, is there someone that you're hoping to get their approval? Is there someone that you're hoping to please? Is this very strong masculine energy, you know, a boss, a father figure, a mentor, a teacher, a manager, whatever he is in your final outcome. And there is an understanding that your connection, your relationship to him, or lack thereof, is going to be in your final outcome, meaning, you know, 6 months to a year from now. looking at how you're working through this, you're going to engage in some sort of interaction with him, whether something's going to be established or something is going to be dissolved or resolved. That's what we see. But it's in direct connection to this this line of what's happening with you right now. So what I want to do is I want to pull some runes for the major arcana. And these are witches runes. So we are going to pull this one for that, this one for that, this one for that, and this one for that. Okay, so what do we see here? So for more clarification, with the High Priest, we see the Harvest rune. And this represents, like I was saying, you know, very similar to the Nine of Pentacles. It talks about whatever you put in, you're going to get back. It's talking about working, putting effort, putting energy into something. It's talking about rewarding the benefits or the you know, sowing your seeds and getting that back, a return on what you've done. So because he is the challenge, and because I feel like he's reflected in the King of Pentacles in your final outcome, this tells me that the energy and the effort that you put in to whatever this he is or whatever the situation is, you're definitely going to see some sort of outcome. There's going to be something that you're going to be able to look at and evaluate. You'll be able to see how far you've come. You will be able to evaluate what's going on. That's the Harvest card. You will harvest. Something is going to change. And I feel like it's going to be for a benefit, a beneficial. The Battle Wagon, here we see water. This is the element of water, and the Harvest is element of earth. So the water card is everything that water represents. It is definitely talking to us about turning and moving and following our emotions, following our inspiration and our intuition. And because this is part of the Battle Wagon, this tells me that for you to overcome and become victorious in whatever it is you attempt to do, it is definitely by following your dreams, your visions, your intuition. It's definitely following all the emotional aspects that you are led by your emotions instead of analytical. So this is definitely, it makes sense when I see what Spirit is reminding you. The message from Spirit was listen to that and follow through with that. I apologize for the noise. My cat's playing with a toy. The land of the Lord of Shadows, which is your fear, we see the eye here. And the eye represents the third eye. It also represents I, meaning you know, my personality, that which makes me, me, including all aspects of self. The I also is your perspective. So when we look at the Lord of Shadows being your fear, the I is your perspective of this. This is your understanding, how you align with this concept and this idea. So I feel like what we're talking about here is your fear is definitely the perspective of what am I going to do when everything is accomplished, when everything is done. I fear what lies beyond. The I is representing a shift in perspective to understand how you can overcome this or face this fear or integrate this and feel more confident about it. It also talks about, you know, embodying that confidence as well. What do you hope for? Here we have the element of air. So we actually see here you have the earth, the water, air, and I could actually be seen as spirit or fire. So you have a representation of all the elements here. So air in regards to justice makes perfect sense to me. It's talking about the mental or the logical aspect, the intellectual aspect of who you are, and working with that in regards to overcoming or understanding the idea of justice and seeking justice for yourself, seeking justice in the situation. That's what you hope for. So even though you are someone who is led by emotions, there is still the intellect and the mental side of you that is still looking to analyze and come to an understanding of what justice would be. So I actually feel like this is a positive thing. You have all the elements represented here in the Witch's Runes in regards to the major arcana in the reading. So I really feel like this is a really good indicator of what's going on. So if you need clarification, if you have questions, don't hesitate to contact me, and we can sort of sort it out. We can even talk about it if you want. You know how to contact me. It was a pleasure to do this for you. Thank you for the opportunity. If you're a viewer and you like the way this reading went, you can go to my website, www.lunarwisdom.net, and see how you can obtain a reading from me, or contact me through Facebook. Okay? And as always, I love you. Blessed be.